She may never say it out loud. She may even deny it to herself. But deep inside, a woman begins to fall in love when a man does one powerful thing consistently. He remains emotionally grounded and self-directed, while making her feel safe to be herself. This is the foundation of female psychology that most men misunderstand. Many men believe attraction grows from chasing, pleasing, or constantly proving love. In reality, those behaviors often weaken attraction. Female psychology responds not to neediness but to presence. Presence means a man who knows who he is, where he is going, and does not abandon himself to win approval. When a man is centered in his own purpose, emotions, and values, something subtle but profound happens in a woman's mind. A woman is biologically and psychologically wired to look for emotional safety and strength. Not dominance, not control, but emotional reliability. When a man can stay calm under pressure, listen without trying to fix or argue, and hold space without judgment, her nervous system relaxes. And when her nervous system relaxes, attachment begins to form. This is why she falls for the man who doesn't react impulsively to her moods. When she is emotional, testing, distant, or uncertain, and he doesn't chase, beg, or withdraw emotionally, she starts to feel something unfamiliar, trust mixed with curiosity. She wonders, why doesn't this man lose himself like the others? That question is dangerous in the best way because curiosity is the doorway to emotional attachment. Another key element is emotional restraint with warmth. A man who reveals everything too quickly, who pours out feelings without boundaries, often overwhelms her. But a man who shares selectively, honestly, and calmly creates depth. He doesn't perform emotions, he lives them. This makes his words carry weight. When he speaks, she listens. When he is silent, she feels him. Female psychology is deeply responsive to consistency over intensity. Big gestures and dramatic declarations may excite her briefly, but they don't create lasting emotional bonds. What does is a man who shows up the same way over time. His mood is stable. His values don't shift to please her. His affection is not a tactic, it's natural. This consistency creates a feeling of safety, and safety is what allows love to grow. She also begins to fall when a man does not try to own her emotions. He allows her to feel what she feels without making it about himself. He doesn't panic when she needs space. He doesn't accuse when she is quiet. This communicates emotional maturity, and emotional maturity is incredibly attractive to a woman, even if she can't explain why. One of the most misunderstood aspects of female psychology is that women fall in love not when they feel controlled, but when they feel free within connection. When a man gives her space without detachment and closeness without suffocation, she starts associating him with emotional peace. A woman's emotions deepen, not when a man tries to secure her feelings, but when he lets go of the need to control where things are going. This is one of the most counterintuitive truths in female psychology. The moment a man becomes obsessed with results, commitment, labels, reassurance, her emotional attraction begins to feel pressured. Pressure creates resistance, and resistance slowly shuts down emotional openness. When a man is outcome independent, something powerful shifts. He is present without attachment, interested without anxiety, caring without fear of loss. This emotional posture communicates confidence at a subconscious level. Not confidence as arrogance, but confidence as self-trust. And women are deeply drawn to men who trust themselves. This is why she feels more when you don't constantly ask where you stand. You don't interrogate her feelings. You don't rush emotional milestones. Instead, you focus on the moment, on connection, conversation, shared experience. She senses that you enjoy her, but you don't need her. That distinction is crucial. Enjoyment feels good. Need feels heavy. Female psychology is highly sensitive to emotional tension. When a man fears losing her, she feels it, even if he never says it. That fear subtly shifts his behavior. He becomes more agreeable, less authentic, more cautious. Ironically, this makes her feel less safe, because she can sense he's no longer standing firmly in himself. When you stop trying to control the outcome, you allow her emotions to move naturally. And emotions, especially feminine emotions, don't respond well to force. They respond to space and sincerity. Space allows her to miss you. Sincerity allows her to trust you. Together they create emotional gravity. Another key factor is how you handle uncertainty. A woman watches closely how a man behaves when things are unclear. Does he become anxious? Does he seek constant reassurance? Or does he remain grounded, open, and calm? When you show comfort with uncertainty, you demonstrate emotional strength. This tells her, This man can handle life and my emotions without collapsing. She also feels safer expressing herself when she knows you won't punish her honesty. If she pulls back and you respond with calm instead of guilt-tripping, she feels respected. If she expresses doubt and you listen instead of arguing, she feels heard. Over time, this builds emotional intimacy. She may not label it as love, but her heart begins to lean in. Female psychology also responds to non-reactivity. Not indifference, but composure. When you don't overreact to her tests, moods, or silence, she begins to relax emotionally. She stops bracing herself. And when a woman stops bracing herself, she starts opening up. Opening leads to bonding. Paradoxically, when you stop trying to lock her in emotionally, she starts investing emotionally on her own. She begins to wonder where she stands with you. She becomes more attentive. There comes a moment in female psychology when attraction quietly turns into attachment. It doesn't happen during a dramatic confession or an intense emotional exchange. It happens when she notices how she feels when you're not around, and more importantly, how she feels when she is. A woman realizes she's emotionally attached when your absence creates a subtle shift in her inner world. Not panic, not desperation, but awareness. She notices that her emotional state is calmer when you're present. Her thoughts are clearer. Her guard is lower. This contrast is powerful. The mind begins to associate one person with emotional regulation and peace, and once that association forms, detachment becomes difficult. This is why female psychology places such importance on emotional imprinting. You don't imprint through intensity, you imprint through consistency. When every interaction leaves her feeling respected, understood, and emotionally steady, her subconscious takes note. Over time, her nervous system begins to expect you. An expectation is the seed of attachment. She may still challenge you. She may still appear independent or emotionally guarded, but internally she starts measuring experiences against how they feel with you. Conversations with others feel louder. Interactions feel emptier. This comparison is not logical, it's emotional. And emotions don't lie to her, even when she tries to ignore them. Another sign of this shift is when she becomes more emotionally expressive without prompting. She shares thoughts she once kept private. She opens up about fears, memories, or uncertainties, not because you asked, but because she feels safe enough to reveal them. In female psychology, vulnerability is never given to someone she doesn't trust emotionally. At this stage, she also becomes more aware of your reactions, not to please you, but because your presence matters. She notices your tone, your silence, your absence. This doesn't mean she's losing herself. It means you've become emotionally relevant, and emotional relevance is the foundation of love. Importantly, this attachment forms because you never forced it. You didn't demand emotional proof. You didn't push for reassurance. You allowed her emotions to arrive on their own timeline. This makes the attachment feel authentic to her, not pressured or manufactured. She feels like it's her choice, even if she can't explain why. Female psychology resists control, but responds deeply to emotional leadership. Emotional leadership means you set the emotional tone by how you live, not by what you demand. You remain grounded when things are uncertain. You remain kind without overgiving. You remain present without clinging. This creates a dynamic where she can relax into her feelings, instead of defending against them. The final shift happens when she realizes she doesn't want to lose access to the emotional state she experiences with you. It's not about exclusivity at first. It's about preservation. The deepest emotional bond forms when a woman realizes that being with you does not require you to become someone else. In female psychology, this is a powerful and often overlooked trigger of love. Many men change themselves subtly or completely to be liked. They agree more than they should, suppress their boundaries, and shape their personality around her reactions. While this may create short-term harmony, it quietly erodes attraction. A woman bonds deeply with a man who does not abandon his identity to keep her. When you stay true to yourself, your values, routines, passions, and standards, you send a clear emotional message. I choose you, but I don't need to lose myself to have you. This balance is rare, and rarity creates value in the subconscious mind. Female psychology is highly attuned to authenticity. A woman can sense when a man is performing versus when he is grounded in who he is. Performance creates uncertainty. Authenticity creates trust, and trust is the emotional soil where love takes root. This is why healthy boundaries increase emotional bonding. When you calmly say no, express a preference, or hold a standard without anger or fear, she feels your emotional backbone. not as rigidity but as stability. She knows where you stand. She knows what you tolerate, and that clarity makes her feel secure. Contrary to popular belief, a woman does not fall in love because a man agrees with everything she says. She falls when she feels respected, not mirrored. Respect comes from seeing a man who thinks for himself, lives by his principles, and remains emotionally steady even when there is disagreement. Another key factor is how you handle your own life outside of her. When you continue to pursue your purpose, friendships, and growth, she feels that she is part of your life, not the center of it. This does not make her feel unimportant. It makes her feel chosen. Being chosen is emotionally powerful. Being needed is emotionally heavy. Female psychology responds strongly to this dynamic. When she sees that your happiness does not depend on her mood or validation, she relaxes. She doesn't feel responsible for managing your emotions. And when a woman is not burdened by emotional responsibility, she can experience desire and affection more freely. At this stage, she may begin to invest more. She checks in more often. She becomes more emotionally available. She may even initiate deeper conversations or future-oriented topics. Not because you pushed, but because she feels safe enough to lean in. What deepens the bond further is emotional integrity. Your words match your actions. Your behavior remains consistent over time. You don't send mixed signals. This predictability is calming to the feminine psyche. Chaos creates anxiety. Consistency creates attachment. And finally, she bonds deeply when she realizes that loving you does not cost her peace. Being with you feels like expansion, not tension.